You're listening to Amazing Radio. This is Amazing Afternoons. Delighted to say that I'm joined by a brilliant new duo who go by the name of Cash and Carter. They've also done a session for us this afternoon as well. Guys, how you doing?
Yeah, we're good.
Good. Yeah, I've just had a baby, so no sleep.
Oh,
Apart
no.
from that, I'm all right.
Yeah, my other half wants to get a dog at the minute, and I said I think I'd rather have a baby because my friend's just got a dog, and he said it's an absolute nightmare. But yeah,
I don't know.
I don't
know.
You can't take the dog out. So, yeah. I'll have a baby.
Yeah, I had one of them 6 or 7 years ago, and still not sleeping. So yeah, I don't know how bad it's going to be with a dog. Let's talk about this session and this EP. You've just released an EP. What a start to the year! Starting as you mean to go on, guys. Yeah, it came out on the 5th, so it's only been out a couple of days, and you've done a couple of songs from the EP for us as well. But let's get a feeling for our listeners around the world of who you are and where you've come from, because you're both quite successful in your own rights, aren't you? How did you come together? First of all, let's find out how the collaboration started.
Well, so I mean, I'll take this one. So I was kind of floating around for a while, writing. Very early days. That's what we're talking about. Maybe 10 years ago. Just writing for other projects, kind of find my own artist sound, because I have another project called Stealth, which I work under. And a mutual friend of mine and Ross's basically said, "Oh, you live out in this, we live kind of, or Ross used to live in Hertfordshire." And it was like, "Oh, there's a guy who's got a great studio around the corner from you. Really good musician. He's working a lot. You should hook up." So then we kind of just sort of like met up and started kind of jamming a few things together. A lot of stuff for other artists. And then we kind of just started working on my project a little bit more. And me and Ross wrote my biggest song, which was Judgment Day. About 10 years ago. Yeah, we've kind of just been working. Yeah, it's that old. And then we've just kind of been like inseparable since. We've worked together pretty much on and off since then, really, haven't we?
Yeah.
And it's been a delight every single second.
What do you mean? You're trying to get rid of me?
But then, so yeah, that's kind of what happened. And then obviously during that process of writing stuff for my project and doing things, sorry, my earphone keeps dropping out. And during that process, we kind of you end up with so many songs that don't necessarily fit with the project. But we just kind of sat on these for years and years and years. And it kind of made sense just to kind of put them out because they were too good, sort of sitting on our hard drive.
Yeah, gathering dust, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's kind of like a very brief overview of how we started working together. But I mean, Ross has done loads of stuff before, was in loads of other bands, and was a gun for hire for loads of other people. So yeah, that's kind of a brief overview.
Yeah. That makes complete sense. But what about the sound of which Cash and Carter, represent? Was that a kind of a natural thing as well, or was there a little bit of a kind of conscious effort to go down that genre? And about that genre as well, what is it about this genre, the Americana sound, which has pulled you in?
I'm not really sure. I don't think it was like too much of a conscious effort of like, hey, let's do an Americana album. It just, when we wrote the songs, they kind of had that flavor already, just kind of organically. So without forcing it too much, it kind of happened, which is, probably like the nice way for it to happen, or the most natural. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're both very much into that kind of American sound anyway. Like, I grew up listening to blues music. It's a heavy influence on me and my project. So there was already kind of like they were already kind of in that world already. They just needed to kind of tighten up a little bit, didn't they? Just to kind of really fit in that. But I also think what's great about them is they're not typically, they've got their own sound as well. I think they do stand. They're not cliched Americana kind of tunes. There's a couple of little bits and bobs in there, but there's a lot of different influences from like pop as well. a few gospel influences in there as well that we've kind of crammed in.
We've tried to go with what we think sort of sounds good, don't we? And
we've always loved that. I mean, like we're both huge like Chris Stapleton fans, and and obviously with the name, massive Johnny Cash fan and June Carter. So I mean, it's a bit, in hindsight, it was maybe a little bit arrogant naming ourselves after two of the greatest country artists on the planet I've ever lived. But you kind of go, well, we're gonna have to be punchy at some point. So
we'll do our best, I think. That's all we can do.
No, I think it's really good, and you make some good points there as well. And I do think it's quite organic, the sound which you've not stumbled upon, but the sound you've crafted between yourselves as well. And that's the best way to be, I guess, as well. And just kind of, if it falls out of you, then let it be and run with it a bit as well. But I do think there is some pop contemporary moments in there as well. I mean, you do get these huge big singles. I mean, Shaun, from your experience as well, if you go for these big sounds, sometimes they do sound quite gospel, don't they, as well? That side of pop. And you can hear that in the EP as well. And there's also quite an interesting cover on the EP as well, which is great. And I like the way you've tackled it. And just for the listeners, you've tackled the Cure's track, haven't you? Just Like Heaven. And there's obviously a conscious effort to completely strip that apart and make it sound nothing like the track as well. Was that conscious?
Yeah, I mean, well, we kind of we've always loved the Cure anyway. Again, we've got such an eclectic taste in music. Those 80s songs are fantastic. The chords in them are really fun to play with, and there's a lot of stuff to really get your teeth stuck into. But that kind of happened where we were like, right, this is really major. It's great lyric. The lyrics in it are fantastic, and they could be interpreted in a real dark, in a much darker way. So we started playing it in a minor key, and then I can just remember Ross just had the guitar and started playing like an interpolation of the riff, the guitar riff, and I was like, that is amazing. And then we basically built the song around the chords and that riff. And then it kind of all, again, just kind of fell into place.
Yeah.
But no, we're really, really proud of that. I mean, we've had that one again. That cover's been sitting there for a while, and it's just been itching to kind of get out. We're just waiting for a big TV show to kind of take it and put it on their soundtrack. Really,
that'd be lovely.
Yeah, it'll be that or like a bank advert or something. That's the way to do it these days, isn't it?
What with the tagline "Just Like Heaven" at the end?
Yeah,
or a funeral home.
I can see Nat West doing that. Oh, the funeral one. Oh.
Focusing on the EP again, I think it's got a good range of what you can offer under this double act of yours, because you've got some darker moments and you've got the cover on there as well. You've got some big tracks. And one of the tracks you've done for us is No Use Praying, which is the name of the EP. We're going to play that in a second. Was this, for you guys, the standout track, and which is why you've titled the EP after it as well?
I mean, you might have a different view, but my view was always that it sounded like the closest to a single, like the poppiest. I mean, usually going around those sort of subject matters around in country and Americana, sort of like espousing the heavens, usually don't sit very well with the genre. But it just felt right putting that as the lead single. And also in regards to the project, these have been sitting on our hard drive for a long time, and they've been kind of knocked back by various labels and teams and things. And I think the subject matter really fit well with the whole creation of the EP. There's no use praying, waiting for somebody else to take these. We have to take matters into our own hands and put them out ourselves. So that it kind of, on one hand, musically, it felt like the single, but also, subject matter wise, it felt really pertinent to the project.
Well, I think we should hear it right now. This is Cash and Carter in session for us here on Amazing Radio with their track, No Use Praying.
Master of my own fate, there's no use in sitting, waiting, wishing. 'Cause here I stay, a player in my own game. There's no use in shoulda, woulda, coulda. Only I can break these chains. Nobody's gonna part that water for you. Nobody's gonna stop the falling rain. No one in the sky to blame. So there ain't no use in praying. Nobody's gonna change your fortune, that's true. Only you can make things go your way. No one in the sky to blame. So there ain't no use in praying. No, there ain't no use in praying. Captain of this ship, there's gonna be some stormy weather, ain't there? So alone in it. Instead of waiting for someone to come and save me, I'ma put my faith in someone I believe in. 'Cause nobody's gonna part that water for you. Nobody's gonna stop the falling rain. No one in the sky to blame. So there ain't no use in praying. Nobody's gonna change your fortune, that's true. Only you can make things go your way. No one in the sky to blame. So there ain't no use in praying. Ain't no use in praying. Only you are saving you. Ain't no use in praying. Ain't no use in praying. Only you are saving you. Ain't no use in praying. 'Cause nobody's gonna part that water for you. Nobody's gonna stop the falling rain. No one in the sky to blame. So there ain't no use in praying. Nobody's gonna change your fortune, that's true. Only you can make things go your way. No one in the sky to blame. So there ain't no use in praying. No, there ain't no use in praying. Ain't no use in praying. Only you are saving you. Ain't no use in praying. No, there ain't no use in praying. Only you are saving you. Ain't no use in praying.
Tash and Carter here on Amazing Radio with No Use Praying. We've got another session track in a moment. But Ross, I guess, is this the space where it was all created and recorded? The space you find ourselves in today?
Yes, it is. My dad's garage. It's amazing what you can do in your dad's garage. That's all I'd say.
But it doesn't look like you're surrounded by pots of paint or a old car.
It used to.
Like that.
Many years ago, it used to. Yeah. Though, we're very, very fortunate that we kind of had access to this space, and it's there's no sort of outside windows, or you can actually. There's not too many distractions. Just knuckle down. And
I think your dad forgets it's not his garage anymore. He keeps popping in again.
Yeah. He pops in just to say hello every now and again, and remind you that it was once his garage. And I hope you're using it correctly now.
I think he just wants a cheeky cut on everything. That's what it is. Well, 5% on this.
Yeah.
I mean, if he understood the royalty side of things, I reckon he should probably ask for 50, to be honest, on everything.
Ross, is that a space you've been in for a while then? Have you been working out there? Because you are a producer as well as a songwriter as well, aren't you? A musician.
Yeah, it's probably getting on for like 15 years maybe now, actually.
You're that old?
I'm that old. It's not always kind of looked like this, but you slowly build up equipment and and things that you kind of like to use on records and stuff, and yeah, it's I think it is that long. I think it is 15 years. It was certainly 10 years. It's been here ever since we've been working together. Yeah. So yeah,
slightly more stuff in it now.
Yeah, I know. There's more things to make noise with. I think that's what it is. Just making noise. And then it ends up being song at the end of the day. That's cool.
Yeah, but Ross, do you have to self-impose some deadlines, or are you a bit of a tinkerer? Because if you've got your own space, I guess time is not as expensive as it could be then.
This is a good point. I don't think, and I don't think anything's really kind of ever 100% completed. That's probably my diplomatic answer. But you do have to kind of say, actually, that's good enough. That's done. Let's move on from that. And I've always found reflecting on songs, maybe 2 or 3 days afterwards, or maybe just even 2 or 3 hours later, just with it, even in a different room, in your car or whatever, listening to stuff, you can actually make a better decision on things, I think. I think definitely a couple of days makes a difference.
I think as well, the type of music we like to make actually lends itself to imperfections, and it's the imperfections and stuff that make sometimes the best parts of the record, and they're the bits that are special. Sometimes if you spend days and days and days trying to make the sound or trying to make everything sound amazing, then sometimes you lose some of that that makes the original song really shine.
Yeah, we did. I mean, either this was a good idea or a bad idea, but there was definitely a couple of songs on there that were recorded without a metronome. So, which anybody else listening who kind of records their own music will know, like when you're editing stuff, particularly choruses or like doubling up vocals and maybe moving them to the next chorus or whatever. So it's a big part of music production. We couldn't do that, so we had to go old school and record absolutely everything, for each section, because they'd all be out of time if we moved them over. And yeah, it was an absolute nightmare.
Mix engineers, like, worst nightmare, aren't we?
Yeah, but it had a vibe. Like I think we even tried recording those things with metronomes as well afterwards. It just didn't sit right. And
surely a feel is better than, just sticking to industry practices, though. If the feel's right and you don't need the metronome, then just, press record.
Yeah, I think so. I think because, we've got such a varied taste in music that goes back through the decades, even like 60s, 70s music, especially me, like the 70s music, they didn't record on metronomes. They didn't have digital recording consoles. It was everyone round either like one mic doing backing vocals, or the band were all recording at the same time. And for me, I think as close as I can get to that, certainly for like this stuff, I'm all for. I think even if it makes the editing process a bit longer, I think it comes out with something unique. I think and anything like that, anything we can do, like the process that makes it unique, we've got to push that versus, hey, we need this done yesterday.
I think that added to the sound as well. Helped us lean into that kind of Americana sound by taking some of those more traditional kind of roots. Just kind of really hammered home that kind of, and helped us fit in that genre.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it carries a lot more soul if you do it that way, and I think your music will benefit from that. Let's see another example from the EP. You've done another track for us here on Amazing Radio. All of the Way is the other track you've chosen. Has this one been in the vault for a while as well?
Yeah, so we actually wrote that one in Los Angeles, didn't we? With a lad called Sam Martin from a band called Bloodhawk. And then that's kind of been, then we took it back home and we kind of worked. It's kind of been knocking around for probably about 4 or 5 years, that one.
Yeah.
But we've always loved it. And I think this was actually, to be fair, this song for me was the first one that I was like, right, this is the one that ties everything together. This is the genre we need to really hammer home in. And that was kind of the benchmark that we brought everything else up to. No, we're both very proud of this one.
Okay, I think we should hear it. This is Cash and Carter in session for us here on Amazing Radio with All of the Way.
It may look a long way down, just keep your eyes on me. You may be high off the ground, but I'll keep you on your feet. We all get lost, get led astray, but with you I'll walk all of the way. So let's get running, this road's a long one, the river's rushing, so let the water come, I'll be there. all of the way. Said I'll be there all of the way. Now maybe you can't stand the heat, well let me be your shade. Praying for the end of night, well I could be your day. It will get dark, the colors will fade, but with you I'll walk all of the way. So let's get running, this road's a long one, the river's rushing, so let the water come. I'll be there all of the way. Said I'll be there all of the way. You know I'll be there all the way. Every step by your side I'm gonna stay. You know I'll be there all the way. Every second by your side I'm gonna lay. I'll be there all of the way. So let's get running, this road's a long one, the river's rushing, so let the water come. I'll be there all of the way. Said I'll be there all of the way. Said I'll be there all of the way.
Cash and Carter in session for us on Amazing Radio. Another brilliant session. It's our first session of 2024, by the way, guys. So you get to have the accolade of that. It's very nice to kick it off with such a brilliant professional session as well. I guess now the EP is out. You touched upon, time constraints as well, Ross, earlier. I guess now the EP's out, though, people are going to be looking at this project and thinking, well, what comes next? Because we've enjoyed this. We want more. What's the plans for 2024?
Well, we're actually working on EP2 after this. So we're actually in the session just kind of going through bits and bobs that we've got, things that we can work on. We've also got a couple of brand new sort of ideas that we're going to start kicking around. But yeah, it's sort of this is very much a labour of love for us as a project, and it's kind of we're just kind of riding by the seat of our pants. If the CMAs come calling and want us to perform next year, then we'll be there with bells on. Yeah, it's kind of one of them. We're just kind of waiting to see, and if there's a demand for us to go out and start playing live, we'll go out and do it. It's very much sort of see how it goes, and we just love making the music, and we're just going to hopefully, if there's a demand for it, EP2 will be on the way not too shortly.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the live setup, because obviously on the EP you've got lots of percussion on there as well. Was that you guys just doing everything, or have you got pulled some friends in for that?
Did we get any live drummers on it?
I don't think I'll say there's live drummers on it, but it was one of us.
Well, it's probably Guillaume, our one of our friends. We've recorded him playing, so he's probably vicariously in there a couple of samples. Oh, sorry. But, I mean, I think when we go out live, I think it's one of we've both been and Ross Morgan, we're quite long in the tooth in the live arena. Loads of musicians and things like that, depending on the setup and depending on the gig, we can either just be us two, or we can make it as big and as boombastic as the venue will allow us. So that's kind of, I think that's the plan.
Yeah, definitely.
The plan that isn't a plan.
Well, but if the kind of live stuff comes along, we'll definitely jump on board. But till then, we're kind of happy making noise in the studio, really. We'll go from there.
Yeah, excellent. Well, we can't thank you enough for doing this session. It's a wonderful way to start our sessions off in 2024. I've got a feeling this EP might kickstart something for you too with this project, because I think it's got massive appeal. We've got listeners all around the world, especially obviously our North America listeners will be into this, I imagine, as well as everyone around Europe and the UK. I think you want something really special, guys, and I wish you well for the rest of 2024 and beyond.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you very much, and we hope so as well. I mean, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us and letting us, perform and things like that. It's been an honour. So thank you very much.